Nadszedł czas zmiany, przejścia do prawdziwego działania wszechświata. I nadszedł czas, aby zrozumieć, że używamy stanu materii, by osiągnąć poziom zrozumienia duszy człowieka. Teraz rozumiesz, być może, dlaczego Kreator wysłał swoich posłańców w imię tego, co miałeś. To oni przynoszą uszy, aby można było ich użyć, gdy nadejdzie czas Mesjasza. Mogę nauczyć duszę i przesłanie. Nie by się przeciwstawiać, ale poprzez ich zrozumienie przez tych, którzy stali się Mesjaszami, aby dawać ze swoich dusz, aby ich elewować. Zadanie stało się łatwe. Szkoła jest tutaj i uczniowie są tutaj w oddaniu. Wtedy nie będzie żadnej walki między tym, co nazywają muzułmanami, a chrześcijanami. Baranek i lew będą jeść i spać w tym samym gnieździe. Chrześcijanie i muzułmanie będą spać i modlić się w meczecie, w tym samym kościele, w imię ich dusz, nie w imię religii, które są używane do tworzenia tak wielu konfliktów, dla korzyści tych, którzy byli hiperaktywnymi dziećmi. Nadszedł czas, czas zmian jest tutaj. I jak powiedziałem, moje życzenie jest moim rozkazem. Jeśli pragniesz ujrzeć pokój, droga pokoju jest wyłożona bardzo wyraźnie. To dusza świadomości zbiorowej. Poprzez dawanie stworzy tą pozycję zmiany. Nic innego. W duszy człowieka nie ma długopisu. Jestem pewien, że po wejściu do społeczności uniwersalnej nigdy nie zobaczysz niczego zapisanego, ale równowagę pól duszy egzystencji. Staraj się być na tyle pokornym, aby nie stać się aroganckim w mocy, którą zrozumiałeś i posiadłeś. Inaczej wpadniesz w tą samą ścieżkę kościoła i meczetu. To jest to, co obiecaliśmy i to właśnie dostarczyliśmy. Musimy zrozumieć działanie duszy i musimy zrozumieć, że dusza człowieka jest gwiazdą w kosmosie wszechświata. Jeśli porównamy duszę człowieka i tak wielu nas, 7 miliardów w jednym zbiorze, Ziemia jest jak galaktyka z tak wieloma gwiazdami. Kiedy patrzymy w głąb wszechświata, widzimy galaktyki z setkami milionów gwiazd. Podobnie jest z planetą Ziemią. Niesie 7 miliardów pięknych gwiazd, które są duszą człowieka. Niesie z sobą duszę tak wielu trylionów zwierząt, roślin i wszystkiego innego. Jeśli więc patrzą ci, którzy nie widzą fizyczności Ziemi i jej zawartości, co widzą? Widzą galaktykę z wielką ilością pięknych, świecących świateł. Każda według swojej siły. Każda zgodnie ze swoją pozycją. Niemowlę ma piękną duszę, podobnie jak staruszek. Dla tych niefizycznych, którzy nie widzą fizycznego wymiaru tej planety, ale widzą siłę pola, jesteśmy gromadami gwiazd. Ludzka rasa, każda pojedyncza dusza, nikt z daleka nie widzi. To jest dusza rybaka, to jest dusza kosmologa, to jest dusza prezydenta. Wszystkie świecą bez względu na fizyczność. To jest magia. Oto co nowa nauka musi przynieść człowiekowi. Kiedy patrzymy przez naszą duszę, widzimy tylko gwiazdy w innych duszach. I to jest przełom, to jest zrozumienie. Na tym właśnie polegają te wszystkie nauki. Dojście do dojrzałości następnego poziomu, aby zrozumieć daleki kosmos. Wszechświat jest ostrygą dla tych dusz, które służą. Wtedy człowiek jest gotowy do wejścia w kosmos. Wtedy człowiek jest gotowy, aby stać się częścią uniwersalnej społeczności, która została obiecana. Nigdy nie obiecywałem wam nieba. Zawsze obiecywałem wam elewację człowieka, aby przyłączył się do rodziny. A teraz macie klucz. To wy musicie otworzyć drzwi, aby zrozumieć, że mogę elewować duszę tych ludzi lub milionów innych dusz, że fizyczne życie na tej planecie zmieni się. Wtedy jestem godny bycia częścią społeczności uniwersalnej, by być, aby służyć, aby się rozwijać, by być tam, aby być częścią, że w cyklu życia wszechświata staje się w byciu częścią, staje się częścią totalności. Kiedy człowiek osiągnie ten punkt, pojawi się nowy wymiar w sile duszy człowieka, który jest poza wyobrażeniem zrozumienia życia fizycznego. To jest brama do otwarcia nowego życia w nowym wymiarze, co jest poza wyobrażeniem tego, co mogliście nazwać nowym początkiem, nowym cyklem, gdzie ten cykl niesie ze sobą źródło stworzenia życia we wszechświecie i unikosie. To jest elewacja duszy, aby służyć. Stała się kluczem. Nie tron życia fizycznego. Czas jest odpowiedni, nadszedł czas, aby człowiek przeszedł przez ten proces.
In the process of the development of the Keshe Foundation in the past week, we have achieved another milestone. We are in a position and we were given offices in the first step to become part of the university structure. That now even our team in Tehran are moving to take the books and the things they need in the work facilities provided by universities for us to bring the Keshe Foundation at a university level, that as we talk, we invite the world leaders and the scientists to come. Keshe Foundation has a structure within the university structure of Iran, which means we are set to move. It's not just us, but the whole nation is moving towards this development and facilitating everything for it. It's important for all of us to be aware that we need to take the first step. and the rest will come. We have taken the first steps many times. And in a way, when you look at the pictures where the little feet were on the shoe of the bigger feet, the father walking the child to learn how to walk, this is what we are doing now. We are there relying on the experience and the fathers and the people who care. That's what I call the elder men of the Keshe Foundation and people around us to take those steps. And hopefully sometime we'll slip off the shoe, but we'll get the foot back on and we'll move on. In respect to what is our main target with the Keshe Foundation television is the peace process. We show technologies, we show changes, but the ultimate target for Keshe Foundation television in all the recordings we do, in all the developments we do, is how can this be used for creating peace? And if we can do that, we can achieve a lot. And we'll see what is the next step, what it'll bring us and how we develop. And we'll see what the future holds for us as what we call knowledge seekers, and not to be arrogant to be a master or a teacher, but to be there to seek for knowledge to understand. In the process of the teaching, as I said, by this week, we bring everything to an end in respect to the teaching of the Keshe Foundation, but we cannot jump into the next step. We have to understand what is the next step. We go today beyond the boundary of the earth and see how life is and is being brought to us without us knowing. In so many ways, mankind has an opportunity to learn more about how and what are the possibilities of life, of the knowledge, or being in the dimension of life. In so many ways, we have to come to one understanding. In so many ways, we are strangers to our own world. Many of us, we hear about asteroids and meteorites and everything else. How do these come about? How do they get to us? How and what information and life do they carry within? Some of these, what is stone to you or me, is a home to colonies of life. In so many ways, mankind has not matured enough to understand that even some of these stones we see in the depth of the sky and what we call environment of the solar system are not from this solar system. As you understand by now, as knowledge seekers, as we see the meteorites coming and entering our atmosphere, burning, or in a way they enter or they land, or we see them as lights in the sky, or we see them in the depth of the what we call the solar system. These are not all from the solar system. As we get the stones coming in and burning from the solar system into the atmosphere of the earth, we get the same thing from the what I call the Milky Galaxy into the atmosphere of the solar system. But the size of these plasma fields which convert themselves into the matter state, some as a matter state they enter, and some they enter as an energy and then convert to the matter due to the inertia of the solar system itself, the way it happens on Earth, they become part of the solar system. And then through the dimension of their gravity and their pull, they become like asteroids. So once we see and once we understand this, we understand even life from different dimensions of the galaxy, and the same thing has happened to the Earth, the meteorites. We have galaxial meteorites, then we have universal meteorites, which in dimension are beyond man's imagination, but as energy packs that when they enter the magnetic field forces of the Milky Galaxy, then they convert to a meteorite, to an object according to the strength of the solar systems and galaxy systems. So if we understand this, we understand all the meteorites, all what has landed on Earth is not necessarily from solar system. As much as solar system creates its own asteroids, so does the galaxy, so does the universe. And so if mankind become wise to this, will understand we already have received many of these which have come through the universe, which managed to pass through the galaxial fields, and Earth and our solar system being on the edge of the present galaxy, more or less, on the boundaries, receives most of and some of. So for the scientists of the future, especially Keshe Foundation scientists, is not to analyze the stones or the objects as we see into what they are. Learn the new technology which you have learned through the gas and plasma technology, and cultivate these to see how life created in them and is within them, which has entered the life of man. Maybe at the salt content of our atmosphere, there is no life in this. But if you understand now that it needs an active condition to bring the existence and formation of life, in the coming time, many of the universities who work in the what we call understanding of life in the space will see and find and mature life in these stones. Because it's not there, because we haven't provided the right condition. Now that we understand that life has to come and way the life is created, meteorites and asteroids are many of them containing life in what we call as aliens, as those we do not know. Some of these meteorites originally were part of, or they are what you call a UFO, which has lost control with life within it. And in the energy transfer has changed to the matter state of the what we call asteroids as an object in our galaxy and in our solar system and on our planet. Mankind has got to learn that this will happen to us in the depth of space. We will lose many of our spaceships entering in the wrong field without knowing and converting into its condition, into the position of the fields of the environment they enter. So, as especially now we enter the cycle of life, we have to see, even within the stones, within these structures that we see on Earth, and now we become passengers of the universe, we find asteroids traveling in the solar system or in the galaxy, to understand what life they carry within them. What life was created in them when they were part of. In the universal community, we see many of these, many spaceships which get lost in the process of transportation or travel, and then we find a lump somewhere, and then we can say this is there. But because the energy of the life in them is a magnetic field structure, we can revive the life. which means one day when the knowledge of mankind reaches that point of maturity, if you put this stone in the incubator of the fields of the universe, it might give you who are the passengers. In so many ways, mankind has to learn the truth, which has been hidden from him through the lack of understanding of the reality of life in the universe. Why do we see a tail on some of the meteorites? Why do we see tail on some of the asteroids? Because of, they say, is due to the entering and interaction with the fields of the sun. They interact with the fields of their environment. And that itself gives us a lot of indication which one of them carries life. Which one of them is part of. The question to ask mankind is, we spoke years ago about the shoe crab, or crab shoe, whatever you call it. And I explained the life existence. Did it enter as an energy pack in one of these asteroids, then becoming meteoroids, and then finding the right environment on Earth gave life to the soul of it, and in that position, in freeing it, it took the shape that it can confirm its existence on this planet. This is why mankind needs to explore the new science. Mankind needs to understand more. Now that we switch from past years of teaching about the matter state and fields, now we have to understand, as we go into the interaction of the fields, the essence of the creation of life, how we have even been lacking the knowledge to see and to know the stones we put for people to see is another fields of life. Is another life in essence within it, but we have not managed to be able to understand, to create the environment for it to manifest itself. Then it comes to the reality of how do we realize this? How do we create life out of the stones we create in, and we keep in museums? And then what knowledge these passages of the universe carry for us? And how do we decipher every picture? To you is a boil, to you is a crack, but what does that crack and boil carry for us? Why do we see these shapes? I had the pleasure about a year and a half, 2 years ago, to go to an environment and a shop which was just selling meteorites. Nothing else. The shop was everything, boxes opening, this has come from there, so much fun, so much they want for it. And I was with Van Mien in Beijing. And as we held the stones in our hand and I looked at it, in the back of my mind, I said, how can I tell people I'm holding life? I'm holding an existence, and we put it in boxes, and we put it in museums, and not understanding that the way we make a difference between the animal life and the plants, and we become vegetarian and we don't eat meat, how can we become more intelligent than to understand within these structures there is life? It's for us as a human race to understand these first before we go into the next step of understanding the maturity of time in the space travel. As we cannot see, we cannot create, we cannot understand the totality. Every hole, every grain, every position of the space in these stones, to me as a man of space, has a meaning. It's life, it's existence. Does not matter how you pick it. They are not They do not come, most of them, from the splash of the suns and the stars hitting each other and planetary system crashing together. That was a fantastic fairy tale we have accepted up to now. But the truth is different. The truth is we are interacting and live on this planet. Or for us, in other places and positions in the universe, environments created, we shall become the stone. The way they have become us. But within it, we see it goes back to the reality for those who couldn't understand at the beginning, that it says even stone has a soul, because that stone carries many souls. To you, you looked at the atoms and protons have a soul. To me, as a man of space, every meteorite is a colony of life. And this is what, in the coming time, we have to understand and explore. We are jumping into the space travel, but we have no knowledge of the space. We would like to leave and change this planet and make it a peaceful place, but we do not know what atrocities we bring to the others in the universal community. But not knowing, but not being able to understand the totality. As I've said many times, when I let man loose into space, it becomes like a bull in a china shop. You'll break everything. And you think you're still right, because you don't have a knowledge that it's a china. It's got to be respected, it's got to be enjoyed, it's got to be handled with care that it doesn't break. And mankind has to go through that phase. And this is why in today's teaching, I brought you a line between man and what is outside. That when we start the teaching with what we call the process of interaction of the fields, what do we know about the fields of lives which is being here and is taking the shape of a stone and there's still life in it? How do we recognize it? How do we allow some of these, what you call stones, the life which is within them creates the condition that allows them to show themselves to us? Don't forget, we stand 1 and 2 meters high as a man, and when we come to the point of demise, we come no physicality, but energy we call the soul of the man. So in reality, in the time of change of physicality, how many souls are entrapped within these stones? Are they all stones? Or, as I said many times, there are systems with lives which are in trouble, or we have captured them and we don't let go because they cannot exist in the condition of this atmosphere. When we understand this, maybe in the future generation, our children will take these stones back to where they came from and we will see them to grow to life. This is what we have to accept as a human race, to become part of the world of the creation. This is what we will see in the upcoming time. These stones, what we call meteorites or asteroids, some of them are or have been part of the bigger structure of life, sometime in the process of life on this, or in this universe or beyond. At the same time as we have the meteorites which come from the universe into our galaxy and to Earth, we have meteorites the size of universes that move from one universe to another. This is what mankind has to understand. And with it, how many of us have seen, have touched, have been around a life which is from another universe, which has managed through the process of its evolution enter our atmosphere. then would we recognize, because the amino acid and the salt condition, which means conversion to life, is slightly different, and we don't have those materials here at this moment of time to produce the environment for it to manifest itself. How many billions of years they have been in this position, and they have landed on Earth millions of years ago, and they're still in there, calm and serene, waiting for the condition to manifest itself that they can show who they are. We have these with seeds and plants, that the seeds are within the ground and they don't show anything. And suddenly, out of nowhere, when the condition comes right, man creates that condition, or the atmosphere does, they manifest themselves. We all know the story of the poppies and the fields, battlefields of France, where nothing ever grew there. And after they bombing each other for days and weeks and months, suddenly poppies grew red. Nobody's seen poppies for a long time, and suddenly out of nowhere, by introducing the what I call weapon technology of man to destroy each other, they created a condition that the poppies could grow, and they showed themselves in the red color, what they call the blood of soldiers. So even on this planet we have that condition. Now we have to understand we have the same thing amongst us. The question I've raised many times: has the life on this planet in reality has it started on this planet, or was it brought in by another meteorite that in the right condition and the position led to creation of the life as we know as human beings, with a little bit of adoption, as we've seen it with crab shoe or shoe crab. Either way, man from now on has to become wise to the creation and the knowledge of what we have, what shall we become of us in the space, and what happens if in the spaceship the man makes from the field interaction in conjunction and in entry into another dimension becomes the stone which is in front of you. You can you hear the ones who are looking at you and say, hi, I'm here, get me out of here? Or would you hide within the structure of the soul? I stay here because I don't know that's man might eat me. Mankind has to become wise to the truth and the reality of the existence and depth of the space. We need to develop a massive understanding of the culture of life. How do we create environment that the culture's life in it, irrespective of the position, place, and the dimension? This technology, in a very hidden way, is embedded in the enhancement unit. In the enhancement units, when we develop it and tune it to the environment that we like, as I've said, in a very what I call sweet and hidden way, is we can create the condition that when we put this stone in it, because we can measure its field effect, life becomes alive. We see the stone will change to the dimension of the life, because now we can create a condition of, doesn't matter which galaxy, which universe, which part of the universe it came from, because the knowledge within the structure of the enhancement unit is developed to create the condition for every position in the universe. It's not just that you go in there and you satisfy your hunger, or you save yourself from a slight little cell in the liver, which you call it cancer. The enhancement unit, this is why it's called universal. You can create a condition in every position in the universe that you give chance for life to exist, and for you to be able to adapt yourself to the condition you're going to enter. In so many ways, what we call interaction of the fields, if we understand it, the way when you enter from the room warm into a room cold, and the condition changes and you freeze and you become an ice block. These stones are in that condition, but through interaction of the magnetic fields and not matter state field temperature. If we create the right condition for this stone in the enhancement unit, I ask you one question. What kind of life you will see within it? What would it manifest itself out of? Then you understand why now we are going into this direction and dimension of interaction of the fields from next week. So you open your eyes in a new dimension of life. To open your eyes in another dimension in the knowledge of the Creator. In a way to understand more, that by seeing more, man finds out how feeble his life is, and how we change, and how the changes in the knowledge for us gives us a new vision, a new dimension to understand more, to appreciate the beauty of the Creator. Then you understand a step further that how little we know of the totality of the knowledge. If I would have brought you these stones, these pictures, oh, they said, oh, this is this, it came, could be a planet hit it, or a meteorite hit it, and the dust went up, and it went into the galaxy, and this is all nonsense. You try in the wrong way to throw a meteorite when it hits the earth and creates a dust, and throw a stone back into the solar system. The way you get burned coming in, you get burned going out. Very, very seldom. So, in reality, mankind has to come to understand the new structure in life, the new understanding of the science of the creation, the new ways that we respect life in every dimension. I'm a vegetarian. I don't eat meat. If you're a vegetarian, you don't eat meat. Would you like to have a stone because really has no life in it? Then because you haven't accepted that vegetables have a life too. This is what man is going to do in the space. Ooh, I don't eat meat because it comes from earth. I don't eat vegetable because it comes from earth. They are life, but I eat you because you're not from earth. Would you like to be in that position? Or do we become selective to suit us? And in that selectiveness, we create more problem for us as a human being on earth and in the depths of the universe. This is why the teaching of the Keshe Foundation has to be for those who understand it in depth, to understand, to respect the fields of the universe, not for them to become something that you consider that there is a life or they could have a soul. Don't forget, mankind knowledge is slightly tuned to it but never understood it. Why some things are rays and some things are photons and some things are particles. Now, which dimension would you like me to catch you in? In a photon, in a particle, or in the light, or as a ray? Either way, your life. And this is what in the upcoming teachings we teach you more, the essence of the creation. Then if you understand this, mankind will become mature to totality of the fields of the creation and the creator. As when you take life in that position, you take part of the creator. Would you like to eat him? This is why in the teachings we take the teaching to the new dimension. that the man will even respect the fields of the universe, not only the collection of the fields that might have a soul that you might eat or you might consume. And even when you take the fields from the universe, you respect it, that what I give, I take equal. Then I become a transition point as the food is to the man today. But we go respecting a higher order, understanding the totality, not taking away because it passes that we need, but somebody else might need it more than us. We can always take when it comes. This is the step which I'm trying to take you in the next stages of the teaching of the Keshe Foundation. Respecting the fields of the Creator, not the objects and the matters and the lives, that because they are collected, I respect. If you reach to that point of maturity, to understand the interaction of the fields and respect it the way you respect your own life, then you become mature to become closer to the light of the Creator. Then we understand. Ask yourself one question. Is there a life in the stone and the tree? I say 99.99999% yes. Because as a man of experience, traveler of the universe, I can even tell you where this stone has come from, who these people are, how they live, how they interact. To you, 1,000,000 years is a long time. For these people, 1,000,000 years is not even one day of life in their cycle. Then we understand how little we know. Then we understand what we have to respect. When you pick up a stone, don't forget, even the stone has a soul. If you create the right condition for it, that the stone doesn't melt, but it opens up now that you understand the technology of the gas and field interaction. And let's see what it shows itself in the field dimension. Yesterday in the lab, I asked our knowledge seekers to do this in a different way with another element. And I know the answer, I know what is going to come, but it was a surprise to him. What and how, but up to now I could not teach because mankind was not ready for it. But gradually we're becoming ready for understanding the totality of the creation. Now we can go to the next step. How do we mutate? How do we allow life through the fields of existence to come into operation? The point for us has to be one thing. How did the fields come together to create this stone and within it hold life? And how those lives have chosen to be in that position, what they're learning in through the experience of their lives. A very simple understanding will give you a lot of clues. How much life is this within the stone? You see the color of green. You see different shades. How much of it is earthly made and how much of it is within the stone? What feels from inside comes that is seen outside the screen? What is the interface between the fields? Why only we see the green on it? What condition that green creates for inhabitants of the stone to receive energy at the level they like? When you look at inside of it, when you look at the holes in it, why do you have these holes? Was the stone melting what was boiling inside, or is this a cavity of the position where the souls could exist? Now the stone has a different story. Now we understand the totality. As I was talking to one of the knowledge seekers recently, why do we call it the black hole? Why is it black? Isn't it the truth that the field strength on the boundary outside covers a full life of light inside? Isn't it this what we wrote in the first paper about the creation of the black hole? The origin of the black hole. Just because we see it black outside does not mean there's nothing inside it. And most of you knowledge seekers should have understood this from the first time you made your first nano coating. You hit the gem of copper inside the darkness of his skin. You call it nanotechnology. You should have seen life exist within the life of the copper, the life of the zinc, or whatever you make, exist inside that black hole. Just because it's on the tube, you can't say it's a nanotechnology. But that's the true essence of life in the universe. You have to get through it, go through that 30, 40,000 layers, and you see life, the copper inside, the soul of it. This was one of the only ways I could teach mankind the beauty of the creation and what at that time was made not to be understood, that what is it? Black holes are eating machines, because the man never understood the truth about it. What is black? It means protecting itself, that the life inside exists in its entirety. Get a copper ball, throw it in the caustic, create a new condition for it that in respect to its environment creates a protection layer on itself. We call it nano layers. And now you have a black hole in your hand, but inside is copper. You cut it and you see it. It's the same when you cut through what you call a black hole in the universe. There is a life of dimensions of a higher strength that in reducing its strength, it becomes in interaction, makes layers and layers of shields, the way the Earth atmosphere does. Now we understand the truth about the black hole. And now we can understand, if we understand the field interaction of the universe in coming times in teaching, how we can move through these barriers into the center and see the copper. Now the knowledge of transmutation and transportation through fields of the universe become paramount, not to transmutation of the elements as was promised become the point of maturity of the man. That was the maturity of the physical man. The man who understands the process of the creation through his soul moves to the dimension of interaction of the fields of the universe, not through the dimension of interaction and conversion through mutation of the matter state. The totality of the knowledge has to be understood from now on as we enter the next phase of the teaching and understanding. This is why I said I resigned and stepped down instead of the Keshe Foundation, because to teach the new knowledge takes a lot of time and effort. To teach a handful of men who understand this, they go through the transition, and over time will teach the others for man to mature, to become part of the universal community. When I leave the Keshe Foundation, I leave the state of the matter condition as man is involved so much with, because I have matured man to that process that he can gradually enter the dimension of the interaction of the fields of the universe. Those who do not understand it, through their lack of understanding of the knowledge, say, escaping for this and that. We don't escape. We open new doors for the scientific world to open new ways for humanity into the span of the universe. If I wish gold, I can create billions of it, but it has no value 500 meters above this earth. Nobody wants it. It's a piece of dirt. But to man has a lot of value. And in so many ways, we can create whatever we wish through the fields of the emotion of the man and creation of the field of what we call tangibility. In so many ways, mankind has to understand he's never been so kind to himself. And in that process, mankind has come to misunderstand the process of the creation through its dimension of physicality. In the coming times of teaching, we'll show you, we teach you that you understand which fields has come directly from the fields interaction of the Creator and has not touched anything. This is not impossible. It's a lot of these rays, which in essence, one end is the man and the other end is the Creator. The way you call it neutrinos, they travel from the strength of the field of the Creator, and there is no strength in the dimension of Unicos to slow them down, for them to interact, because they still have come from the inner sanctum of the Creator. Now you understand. When we say servitude, when we say the purity of the understanding of the love of the Creator, some men will travel that gap between their soul and the Creator in an instance, because they go into the depths of the fields as the strength of the field of the emotion of the Creator. Always said, birds with birds, wolves with wolves. If you're a bird who's free and detached and you match into it, you'll find your match, you'll find your lover, the Creator. Now maybe mankind understands how some will reach the level of understanding of the Creator in the original essence of its own fields from the point of inception of the creation itself. Now that you are knowledgeable, you understand how sweet and how the reality changes, because now you have been enlightened. You've been enlightened by understanding of the totality. When I told you, some of you might jump that in the last teaching in one go directly to the Creator. Now you understand how. You wish, your emotion, if it touches that point that makes you to get ILS or MS, to wish to die, and the body organizes it, and it'll happen. The same wish, the same purity, if you wish and the wish is pure, you'll join and you'll match to the fields of the life direct to the Creator. Maturity of the man does not need PhDs, an engineer and a doctor or a professor. A little farmer, a little shepherd on the top of the mountain, in sincerity, in trying to help a sheep not to die or take his pain, can reach the point of purity to reach the Creator's field of emotion, of love and care. And then the transportation and transmutation is instant. The maturity of seeing the light of the Creator is the reality of understanding and enlightenment through the fields of the creation. Mankind now looks for gold to become rich. By the time I teach and you understand the totality, human race will search the universe, the whole of the universe, to find that light which indicates is the light from the Creator. The hunger to possess will change from gold to the rays, to golden rays from the essence of the origin of the Creator. Then you understand which one do you value more, which something has no meaning, or becoming part of the Creator to become the Creator itself. maturity of time, creation of new life, understanding the totality in the new dimension of the both physical and fields, what we call the soul and physicality, is about to start. Then mankind becomes more rich. Then mankind becomes detached from this planet. Then mankind becomes to respect the totality of the creation. In so many ways, gradually, step by step, over past 8 years, I took you from matter state into the energy, and now from the energy of the plasma and the gans into the fields of it. And this is what the past few months I keep on telling you, let the physicality go, look at the fields of the gans, and then see if you can create that field that you can join in the center of the gans. You become part of it. And then through it, you will see the outside. And if you learn this process, going through your soul to match the fields of your environment, then one day, one of the souls will find that golden light, that passage of fields to the origin of the essence of the creation, that universal unicause neutrinos, that the origin is connected to the creator. Don't forget, when you reach a point, then you convert and you go back to it. It's the condition of the emotion which decides where that point of return comes. The water on the surface of the planet evaporates and at a certain point becomes a cloud and rains down back to the water and the ocean. If you mature enough, at one point you catch that temperature of the field, the strength of the creator, that becomes your passage back to the creator. Otherwise, you're in the swing away from and hoping that you will catch that field that you might turn into the creator. It takes 1 second to fall in love. It takes 1 millisecond to reach the creator. That if men understand the meaning of, because you travel back at a higher strength with a more powerful love of the creator to welcome you back within what he gave back to himself, that he can create more. Now you understand again what the teaching, when we say the origin of creation, the origin of the fields will start from 21st. Many of you were waiting to see what will happen. A creature will happen. A thing will go on, and something will be. You're looking again for that Betty. You're still looking for confirmation of physicality. We look for the maturity of the man through the soul in the dimension of understanding the creation and the creator. Maybe now you understand what we celebrate from 21st of March. Not only the spring in a physical matter of the northern hemisphere, new life will start, trees will grow, plants will grow, birds will have children. Now we take man through the process of the cycle of birth in the dimension of the nearness to the creator. This is where the next level of teaching comes. Many of you will not understand, but you hang on that I hope one day understand. But understand that in the teachings to come, you have to understand the meaning through your soul. To the confirmation of it in physicality means you're still not matured, as I can't feel anything, I can't see anything, but you do not know if your soul has already taken a trip back 2 steps or going forward 10 steps to the creator and the essence of creation. This is where the new teachings will come into operation, that you can adjust and understand the position of your physical life and the dimension of the creation within center of you, where you stand in the presence of your soul, in the dimension of its life, in its path to its creator, or within the environment of its creation. You were waiting for Mehdi. but in fact the mat is you. It's your soul. It's the understanding of the creation in the essence of the creator's fields of interaction. In a way, when we become the body of the man and we manifest our physicality, we are like a clothing which is born and worn by many people before, and somewhere down the line it's been passed on to us and we wear it as a frock of the man to confirm our existence. Before, this field was part of the galaxy. This field was part of another being, maybe. This field maybe was part of the interaction of something else, and as a hand-down energy fields has become the body of the man of today, which we are. Which one of you would like to wear first-hand, untouched, brand new clothing of the fields of the Creator? And this is where the teachings will go. This is, if you go back, I explained, even in one of the teachings at the beginning of the recordings we hear, you become a speck of dust, part of nothing, or you become the fields and rays of the Creator. Maybe some of the original teaching now has a different meaning if you listen to it for the next time. This is where from 21st of March, from this Sunday, we take steps towards. We are not abandoning mankind, but we are elevating the understanding of the man in the essence of the creation and the Creator. We don't need to be rich to be able to buy and be part of the first-hand clothing that you reach and you receive directly from the Father as a gift. This is what the teaching of the coming time will be, and that's why I emphasize many times we will talk about the interaction of the fields. This is why I pushed you, and I pushed you for past months. And we've seen Alex in Canada has got a touch of it, but can't understand the totality of it. And we see how the teaching has changed from the time when we had Armand talking about making ganses and nano-coating, the maturity of the time that some of us now start understanding part of the interaction of the fields. And in the coming time, we'll have more and more knowledge seekers who are more pure, and the enlightenment of the knowledge will come to them, and they become the teachers of the next cycle in understanding the fields of the creation, in understanding the process of creation, in understanding, respecting the fields of the universe, not the entities of the universe. Because when you respect that field might be connected on the other end to the Creator. How and how are you that you could respect your own Creator? We become humble through the knowledge. We become arrogant in being able and reach the position to feel, to be part of the Creator. And even the arrogance at that moment is arrogance of serving, not possessing. This is what now you might understand in my teachings in past times. Now, where the technology has no meaning, except for you to understand the process of the creation, except you to understand the interaction of the fields of the Creator that on the millionth time hand clothing down the line has become you. Through your soul, through interaction of the soul of your physicality, if you become pure and mature enough, you might touch the fields of the rays of the neutral of the Creator, that it might show you the path back to His creation. Now you understand the process. Now you become intellect to understanding the work of the Creator. In so many ways, mankind has no choice now that we have opened the doors of heaven of the knowledge to humanity. Some of you will understand it through the dimension of physicality, and some of you, through understanding through your soul, will take a new dimension and direction in the physical life. That to brings you to the position that you are like, as I said to one person before, you've seen the bride turns around and throws the bouquet in the air to see which of those behind her will catch and become lucky to become the next bride. This is the same. That bouquet is the flower. It's the beauty from the rays of the Creator. Which one will catch it? Is it by intention that we catch or by deception? Those who get deception, they will never get married. Those who, purity of heart, want to get married will catch the bouquet, and in seeing its beauty, they fall in love, create condition in their souls that knowing they have that bouquet in their hand, they'll get to the lover. They'll find the lover that leads them to be married, to be consoled, and in a way be given the pleasure of reaching the totality. But I wonder how many of you will catch the bouquets which has been thrown by the Creator, that you find a path to join him, to be like him, a lover and a giver. In so many ways, as we cannot do ourselves, we create children that might be in their process, in the development of their physical life. One day, one of our children in the future will catch that bouquet and find the path to the Creator. And this is in fact the essence of the creation of the man and life in the universe. We create so much so that one of the ones who's been the beggar, wearing a torn clothes of the 1,000 and million times by others ahead of them, will become rich by catching the bouquet that can reach the Creator and wear the frock for the first time, to be part of the totality, to be the Creator, to become mothered by the marriage that leads to the creation of the totality of more, to be generous and to love. Maybe some of you already have been enlightened today to understand what is to come. And some of you are still in the tangle of, I don't feel anything, this is all talk. It has to be. And neutrino does not show itself as a photon till it reaches the right environment. A ray of the universe and the galaxy does not show itself as a light in the eye of an astronaut till reaches the right condition in the eye of him, that he can see that flash, that beauty. So, in so many ways, as you were hoping to catch the bouquet, understand one thing. What is the bouquet that your soul needs to catch to find a way to the Creator? The elevation of the soul by creating more fields to be within it. Like, as you see, you have a copper oxide. You don't know which one is a copper and which one is oxygen, but you know the collection is copper oxide. Man, by servitude, collects more things in that oxide. Zinc, copper in that plasma, everything else in that plasma. That maybe at the point of maturity, and by coincidence, if he enters the room, he can catch the light of the Creator. That because he has a full spectrum of it. This is why we say we praise and we bless our people. This is why we give to the soul of the Christ, that we continuously add that he gets to the point that through his soul, be able to catch the fields of the Creator and be within that realm. Then when we call it the Son of God, Does it mean that that soul was directly enlightened by the rays of the Creator and it became the manifestation of itself, as we are the millionth down son of the Creator? That's why he's still part of his essences with us, as in amino acid and genetic construction. We see he has the eye of the great grandfather. In that process, we carry the soul of the soul of the soul of many millions of the grandfather to be the Creator. Or we mature to the point that our soul reaches that maturity in one instance. As I said, in Sunday teaching with Americans, they say, do we call you a doctor or what title? I said, I don't need a title. Nobody carries a title, does not exist. The only title man has to carry is his closeness to his Creator. If you become close to him and you serve, you have reached and achieved the title of him. This is part of being a lover and a giver. I have found peace. I have found love within the creation of the Creator. And in that process, my soul is free, but I have to manifest myself in a dimension of physicality that I can transfer and translate the knowledge of the Creator. But how much you understand, and as I said, when I teach, I do not teach mankind, but I teach the totality of the universe as being a part of the light of the Creator. We reach and enlighten the whole lot. It's not directional or dimensional. In a way, when you throw a fireball into the air, everyone can see the light of it. It's not exclusively to the one who has thrown it. In a way, that's what we are. As part of the universal messengers, what we do, we enlighten the whole of the environment, not just when the man who threw it or came from us. Then you understand the totality of the creation in the dimension of the Creator. If you feel what I feel as I walk to teach you, I feel no physicality, as the physicality is the dimension of non-existence. It's the knowledge of the Creator which runs within me and which becomes the knowledge to you. In a way, physicality has no meaning, as I take him into the realm of the creation and the Creator to share knowledge and assess how many of you at the same time, by your souls across this planet and beyond, have become receptive to understand that it's time for me to take the next step. I have matured to understand the position, time, and the place. We have a beautiful saying for us. It says, it means if you don't want to stand out, become part of the crowd. And this is what we do. But within the crowd, we hear to the crowd which way to go, till they reach the destiny, till they reach to the point of understanding. In so many ways, we had the birthday of Mitra past few weeks. And now we understand the birth of the soul of the man in the dimension of the realm of the creation from 21st of March. Beginning of a new life. Beginning of the structure where the soul of physicality and soul of the man will spark with one soul. And then does that soul need to take the shape of physicality to confirm to humanity, or become the soul of the guidance of the man, to take mankind and those others to the point to all see and reach and hold that bouquet which comes from the rays of the Creator. And that process will begin. Many of you, or those of you who are looking for physicality and all sorts of escape routes, you can still choose. Those of you who made a lot of assumptions, you can still assume, because you're still entangled in the dimension of physicality. One thing will be for sure, as I said many times, touch me. And if I feel, you feel the physicality. But if I feel, you touch the fields of the creation, you will see nothing but the enlightenment within you. You will touch the physicality of the soul, not the physicality of the man. And as long as you find pleasure in physicality of the man, you have not achieved the maturity of the soul of the man to create that position for the creation of the soul. As I said, look at the stone and contemplate. What are you holding there? As even this stone, at some time in the back billions of the generations of it, was part of the Creator. Then, would you still respect this stone? Or just throw it away that something came and fell under it? Where this stone entered directly the position of our life, coming maybe closer than any of us from the source of the Creator. Man has to respect the dimension of interaction of the fields of the universe. And then mankind becomes mature to live in the dimension of the field of the soul of the man, and not in the dimension of the physicality. Mankind has to understand the totality from all. Then we understand more. Then we take position, and the position to be able to mature, to become that police officer who shows the direction to get out of the trouble. When there is a flood and a disaster, you wait for the man in the uniform who has the knowledge which way to go to guide you away from the disaster to new pastures, to find peace and tranquility, to start a new life. And this is our job. Every one of us has to be that policeman. Every one of us has to become that guide to guide the soul of the man to the direction that where there might be that neutrino which started from the soul of the Creator itself. And if we can guide one soul to that point, we have achieved and served the purpose of existing, even in the dimension of the soul of the Creator and the soul of the man. Maybe some of you will understand the purpose of the creation and the purpose of understanding the totality of the creation. And then you understand what it means. I've made man in the image of myself. As the man is the so many frogs down the walls, part of interaction of the field of me with me that's created his manifestation. You cannot come from anywhere else but the Creator. Does not matter in the dimension of the physicality or the soul. Your soul is no different than your physicality. It still has come from the dimension of the soul of Creator, but has not converted to the dimension of physicality. Maybe many of you will understand more when you take the path of the fields than path of physicality. And maybe there's a need for contemplation and the silence of the man to understand, to listen to the voice of the Creator through the dimension of his soul, but not through the dimension of ears of physicality. Silence of the soul is more torturous than the silence of physicality, because the soul knows when it's silent, it's not interacting with the dimension and direction to find its way towards the target, towards the position of the Creator. In physicality, we look for a beacon in the dimension of the soul, we look for the light of the enlightened and those who lead us to the Creator, to the light of Creator, to the beauty of His manifestation, and for us to become part of the totality, not to be a second-hand million times down the road as physicality. In a way, what I said about the black hole and what I said about the creation of the black hole, would we, when we come to see the Creator, the darkness, before we enter the gate and see the sun inside, the soul of the Creator, is that creation of what we call black hole, essence of the creation of the Creator, that it manifests itself in the dimension of the physicality of the strength of the eye of the man. Not everyone sees everything in the universe. Some of us, when become that electron in enlightening, in being enlightened by the interaction of the light of the Creator, will shine to manifest ourselves. I'm here. I would like to be part of you, even though I separated from you. Maybe now you understand. But the beauty of it is, with what we have given you, what we call the enhancement unit, mankind can see the path of the fields of the creation. And in some of the conditions, in the strength of the fields of the universal system, in the strength of the totality, man might find that pool of water which man has made, that one day 1 neutrino might hit. Mankind in these systems find the direction and the light which has come from the Creator to elevate his soul. This is why, if you go back in the teachings, I always said that some of you being in the system might see the light of your soul, because you interact in the dimension of the strength of maturity, and with it to interact with the soul of the Creator. Many people in the past few weeks, we see frightening people about the souls, this, and it takes your soul and the rest of it. As I said, the devil exists within the fear of ourselves, and those who try to fire it because they're so far away that they know they lost it and they will never get it. So I frighten the others, as I don't have it, they will not get to. This is it, and this is how it shall be. And I hope you listen to these teachings hundreds of times, not once or twice, and understand through it the path to the Creator, the path to the soul, to interact with the soul of the Creator, to show your beauty in the presence of the Creator, that He might one day fall in love with that light, and with it bring that soul to be the companion and to be part of the spread of the knowledge of the Creator amongst His creation. Maybe many of you will understand from today's teaching and understanding of it what we call the virgin birth, where the light, the soul of the child to be created comes from the Creator Himself, and not second and third hand, is virgin in essence of the totality from the beginning, not used and abused and then reclothed millions of times in different dimensions. In so many ways, mankind becomes mature from now on's teaching to work in the dimension of the strength of the creation, and then we'll find the travel in the depth of the universe will become a child's play for the man if he decides to travel with the physicality or dimension of the soul of the man. I hope I have given you the present you've been waiting for 21st of March, as the gift came before the time, that you can understand it, that when it comes the time of the teaching of the man physical dimension on 21st of March, you can start enjoying the gift and start understanding the totality. maybe mankind will be kind to himself to understand which kind of man has become this mankind. And then we progress to the next steps of understanding of the totality. You got to realize you've been taught today in two levels. Some of you heard my voice through your ears, and some of you received the message of the Creator through your soul. Search for it. And if you can match the two, that you heard the same thing in both dimensions, you might have found the path to your Creator, as both had the same message of love and care, but one was to the soul and one was to the physicality. And if you have only heard in the ear of the man through understanding of his physical emotion, try to find out the voice of the soul. And when you match, you start the trip towards the dimension of the Creator. You will find the fields, which might take you a little bit closer. In a way, less second-hand clothing that you move forward. And in that new position, you might find another strength that makes you richer in understanding the strength of the soul, to wear less second-hand clothing of the creation through the lifeless Creator. But if you made a mistake, you will never know that the frog you take a step higher by your own misconduct might put you back beyond what even you had as a soul of the man, further down the road, instead of being closer to the source. Then it comes the maturity to understand that the man has to be correct in conduct at all time in the dimension of his soul, let alone his physicality. Then the true essence of Mitra comes and manifests itself. Do good, talk good, and think good. Thinking comes from the dimension of the soul. Doing comes from the dimension of physicality. And somewhere between the two, man has to find the essence of the reality of the creation, not only in the dimension of physical life, but in the dimension of the soul of the man, his Creator. I hope some of you, and I hope all of you, have matured to understand the teaching of today. Even though we start teaching more in depth, more in maturity of time. This is what I call the promised day. Many of you have been waiting for the message of Mehdi to enlighten you, to find a way. Today is that day. It's you who have to become the Mehdi of yourself and understand the totality of the knowledge. Not to look for someone to guide you, but you become the guidelines for the others, that you take the right path. And then maybe you understand, doesn't matter in which path of life, religion you believe in, today is your judgment day, because now you know the truth. And it's you who has to judge. The judgment is on you and not somebody else to decide how much you understood. Take the path in the direction of physicality and starve yourself from reaching the goal of the Creator. Enlighten and enrich your soul to understand by detachment from the physicality, but still using the dimension of physicality to gather more, to may be able to reach, to find that light which comes directly from the Creator, to be the rain which returns back directly without the interference, without changing more clothes back to. Then you understand the totality of the essence of our teaching. I am the beginning, I am the end. as the end comes from my beginning. Then we understand the position and elevation of the soul of the man in the dimension of the physicality as much as in the dimension of the fields of the universe. Loving is the attribute of the Creator. Man has not learned yet to love truly the way the Creator loves. We talk about love, but the love man loves in is still a phantom in comparison to the true love of the Creator. Maybe today I have opened your eyes into a new dimension, as I said, where the teachings will come from. And I warn you always months and months and weeks in advance. As a knowledge seeker told me, you talk too much about everybody expecting now, but you deliver later. Because for a wine to be sweet, it needs time to mature. And for a knowledge to be understood, it needs to be educated, that all gather and do, not one to grasp and grab the chalice of wine just for itself. We took time to mature more souls to be able to go through the transmutation and conversion of the souls of the man to the souls of the creators, those who will elevate faster. It's no good to have one perfect student in the classroom. You strive to have all your students in a perfect condition of the knowledge. And this is what I've been trying to do for past centuries and thousands of years here. And now it's time for man has reached the point of maturity that we can open another gap, another light from the light of Creator in the knowledge of the man's soul and not his physicality. Thank you very much for today. And I hope you received the message from humanity, from your soul. And the day of judgment for some of you is today, as you will judge where and how this position will be. And if you don't do, it's just another voice. And some of you who will go through that transition will become detached from the physicality and its bondage the way it is. Become detached like me. I accept life the way it is at the time it is. I accept a lot of suffering over centuries here by the hand of the man. But now I see the light that all that was worth it, even the ones in the past few months and the past few years in the clothing of a scientist as a man to guide mankind to this point. We praise and bless the soul of those, even our enemies, as in the way by creating enemy, many of you had to judge your own soul and intellect. And in that process, mankind become the wise man of itself. Be wise to understand the truth, not to stand to accept what is being given to you as the truth. This is why we teach this way, for you to judge, for you to understand, and in judging, for you to mature one step, that you gather more fields, that you stand a better chance that you might catch that bouquet to return to the Creator. And I hope and my wish that all the 7 billions of inhabitants as man and not other creatures only, and plus all the other creatures on this planet and the soul of all those within the universe and unicos will catch today that bouquet, that we all return back to the Creator and we become the creator and creation of the new life with joy, with peace and understanding of unisons of the totality of the fields, that we all come from one light to start with, even though by interaction of others and other fields, by diffraction and other things, we become to become the clothes of the man. And even in the clothes of the man, we bear another cloth to hide the beauty of what the Creator has created within us, as with the frock of the man, we hide the beauty of the soul which is within us. I hope many of you mature, and I hope many of you make that path, that the dimension of physicality becomes a joy to be the manifestation of the physical dimension of the Creator, and not the suffering and the life of the man in the dimension of physicality. Blessed are those who have matured and elevated. Thank you very much for today. And I hope you'll find peace with understanding of the totality, not by enforcing the dimension of physicality due to the lack of understanding the rays of the Creator and the beauty of His love. I think it'll be a good time to take a break. We come back.
Yes, of course, you're right on time, Mr. Keshe. Thank you very much. Okay, we'll take a short break here and come back in a few minutes with the remainder of the